let's start with Darius Robinson. Let's put MHJ on the shelf for a second. The Cardinals have not had an impact defensive tackle that's homegrown since Calais Campbell. They had a flash in the pan year or two with J.J. Watt. Yeah. What we've seen out of Darius Robinson right now, and I know for a lot of people it's a low bar to clear, like I think he's on his way to becoming the best defensive lineman in that room right now.
Yeah, I give credit where it's due. Like Zach Allen, he emerged. He was his healthiest, unfortunately, going into a contract year, and then he was gone and went and got the bag from the Broncos. And I think he was good, but he wasn't what Calais Campbell was the anchor to those defenses. He was the noise and physicality up front, and obviously size up front that they needed. You know, the rush and cover that the no-fly zone needed. And he did so much. He was a lunch pail guy, and he was a humble guy, and he was a hard worker. I'm talking about Calais Campbell, and you're like, wait, are we talking about Calais or Darius Robinson? And I think that both shows up. I think maybe where the difference is, I think that, Darius is a technician, and then like his just brute physicality, his violence, it was on display today. Like he started out getting his reps in 11 on 11s with the twos, and then we saw him get reps with the ones by the end of practice, because I think he was just making life a nightmare for the interior of the offensive line that were trying to block him today. There were two plays where he very well could have gotten home to the quarterback and come up with the sack.
Yeah, you and I were at the Super Bowl this year and had a chance to connect with him, and just the presence that he had then before really the draft season had kicked off. He had just gotten done dominating the Senior Bowl. You and Damon Dog had watched him in Mobile play against the best interior offensive lineman in college football, dominate Mobile. And he's one of the most humble people that you can meet, addicted to football. Jonathan Gannon praises his schedule, just his love for the game, how everything that he does in his day is to be a better football player and a better person. He's a big believer in his faith and his family. And
I think he just wrapped up his masters. I think he just got his masters.
I mean, he checks every box, and then it's like, okay, yeah, that's great. Let's see him on the field. And now he's checking that box. Like the Cardinals for a long time have had players that you're excited about. Oh, this guy was a captain. Oh, he played in the SEC. And they just, for whatever reason, didn't materialize into anything. Like training camp can expose a lot of people, but it can also, you have that ability to see it. Like you go like that, and you know when a guy has the it quality that Kyler Murray was talking about with Marv yesterday. But I think you can see it with defensive linemen. I think you can see it flash. You mentioned the technique, the physicality, the brute force, right? That's why it was the only draft pick, in my opinion, for the Cardinals. If the Cardinals were not going to trade up for a Dallas Turner or a Byron Murphy, and we know they had those conversations, Darius Robinson was the easiest pick to stick and pick, not because of his ceiling, but because of his floor. Like we're seeing his floor on displayed right now after 2 padded practices, and it's pretty damn good. Imagine where he's going to be October, November, December, over the course of an NFL season, over the course of the Cardinals strength and conditioning program next off season, and refining his technique next to guys like Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones. The Cardinals are in a position right now to mold and develop, and I don't say this, hyperbole, their best young defensive tackle in 10 years. Calais Campbell was drafted in 2008. I mean, it's been at least 10 years since they've taken a guy that you can say that guy's got Pro Bowl in his future. He's got contract extensions. Like people are going to say that, fanboying out and jumping to conclusions. Just watch it with your eyes. The Cardinals pride themselves on offensive line play, and we saw it last year, and they played a bunch of different guys. And then you watch the clips from PHNX Cardinals today and what Bo saw with his eyes at training camp. Darius Robinson was abusing people today up front for the defense.
It was. Did you not? You don't want to include Robert Kimdiche in that group? It wasn't
Robert Kimdiche that didn't make it
to his fourth and final year of his rookie year, rookie contract. Yeah, it's a different caliber player. It's one that is gonna play often. It's gonna play early. He's gonna start to take his lumps, I'm sure, at some point. But he's gonna become a better player, create calluses. And become just a fixture on the Arizona Cardinals defensive line for the next 4 years, plus the 5th-year option with him being the 27th overall pick, which kind of gets, we overlooked that. We talk about, the advantage with having Marv on that deal, having you know, a player, hand in the dirt player like Darius Robinson on that deal is going to hopefully work out down the line for the Cardinals, and then extend him, you know, draft, develop, extend. That's the new way of the franchise.
I mean, his 10-yard split in the 40-yard dash was 173 at nearly 6'6", 300 pounds. I guess he weighs in about 290. He bench pressed 225 nearly 30 times. He was all SEC, all academic SEC. And then you watch Missouri last year. Players along the best Missouri team in forever. They've been irrelevant since Chase Daniel said he was the MVP, not of our defense, of our team. Had been there for 5 years and had 14 tackles for loss last year. I mean, he is a tackle for loss machine. And the Cardinals, for so long, they have not had people that can get behind the line of scrimmage and make plays. Typically, they have to send somebody, whether it's Buddha or Kazir White. But if you've got a front four, can your defensive tackle and or your defensive end make a play on a guard or guard tackle combo and abuse somebody with their power and their technique and get home? We always talk, can you get home? Darius Robinson is going to do that for the Cardinals as early as this year. And it's exciting because I was not prepared to sit here this training camp and be patient with this rookie class. Like, we talked about how important this rookie class needed to be to have an immediate impact. That's why you housed all those picks if you're Austin Ford. That's why you traded back. And here's the cherry on top. If Darius Robinson it works out for the Arizona Cardinals. If he's a player that they extend, he makes Pro Bowls, it will not matter that CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans had a historic year. It did not matter that pick wasn't top 5 or top 10 or top 20. All that will matter is the player that they selected. And I bet they feel pretty damn good about that player today.
Sure. No, I mean, look, and I think that's what's going to, you know, as people get uneasy, as that draft pick continue to free fall. You know, you realize that Monty Ossenfort's going to be able to find talent no matter where he's selecting in the NFL draft.